The inclusion of sex and gender in orthopaedic research, a systematic review.
This study looked at 201 National Institute of Health first-time research grants to all surgeons. Women surgeons receive significantly more of these grants. The female grant recipients were more likely to be from departments with a female surgery chair or from a department with more than 30% women surgeons. This highlights the importance of institutional support and representation in advancing women's research careers. Looking at grants to orthopaedic surgeons, female orthopaedic researchers receive on average only 55.2% of the grant funding that their male peers receive. Orthopaedic surgeons are generally poorly represented in NIH grant funding, but even this government funding source, which supposedly supports gender inclusion, is failing orthopaedic women in research. This disparity in funding reflects broader trends in gender equity in research and underscores the need for targeted efforts to support women researchers in orthopaedics. Johnson studied abstract acceptance for publication among orthopaedic authors. Orthopaedic women were significantly less likely to have their abstracts accepted, despite no differences in the average sample sizes or levels of evidence in their studies. This disparity is particularly pronounced in hip and knee arthroplasty, where women had 15.5% lower acceptance for publication. However, even in paediatric orthopaedics, where there is a higher representation of women, abstracts with women as senior authors were 8% less likely to be published than their male peers. These results show the systemic barriers that need to be addressed to promote gender equity in orthopaedic academic publishing. Kane analysed publication productivity and citation rates of 50 major surgical journals. The top 5 female orthopaedic authors had more publications than their male peers, but were still less likely to be cited. This discrepancy raises questions about the visibility and recognition of women's contributions to orthopaedic research and the need for equitable citation practices. Grant reviewed the gender trends in orthopaedics over 10 years. There has been a gradual increase in women's authorship roles over the past decade. However, there is still a significant gap in women as senior authors. This highlights the attrition of women in the orthopaedic academic pipeline and the need for continued efforts to support women's advancement in academic orthopaedics. The findings from this study indicate again that while there is progress, disparities still exist. The increasing trend in female authorship is primarily due to increases in first author publications and is not consistent across subspecialty journals. Identifying driving factors for these differences and potential methods to increase representation should be a focus of future research. Gattis analysed first and last author data by gender in all US orthopaedic journals over 2 decades. This graph suggests the attrition of female researchers with limited increase in female academic research. Understanding these trends is essential for developing strategies to enhance gender equity in the field and ensure that women's contributions are recognised and valued. Women are underrepresented on orthopaedic editorial boards. They have been demonstrated to submit more thorough reviews and recommend fewer articles. Unfortunately, they are asked to review a high proportion of women-authored manuscripts, which, ironically, contributes to even fewer articles by women being published.
The inclusion of sex and gender in orthopaedic research, a systematic review.